Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 124. Tesla China is ramping up towards new record in June, and Elon says to Bloomberg he do not believe their prediction. And this week the Tesla Model S could celebrate a 10-year anniversary. And Texas plans for a massive EV charger expansion. And the Tesla virtual power plant continues to get some traction. And the Tesla bot might be able to do a bit more than we think. And SpaceX sets a new record. And Elon is still confident that full self-driving will happen this year.
What would you say to the people that have said, for several years, you've said it'll be this year, it'll be next year? What would you say to those people?
It'll be this year.
Perfect.
And if you're thinking of getting Toyota's new EV, the BZ4X, just hold on a bit, because the wheels might fall off. All this and much more to come on today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
And Moneyball on Twitter has been keeping a close eye on Tesla's Shanghai factory and the ramp that they're doing here in June after their lockdown. And that ramp is fast. He tweeted that Tesla made in China units that were insured from the 13th to the 19th of June were 17,949 units, just in those 7 days. That is about 2,564 units a day. And Sawyer tuned in and added all the numbers together for the first 19 days of June, and that should be over 46,000 units in 19 days. And if we then take the 2,564 units for the last 11 days of the month, we should end up with about 74,000 units. And the 71,000 units Elon was talking about, that was their target, would have been a new record. So even though they had to ramp up again after the lockdown and so on, they might be able to beat the old record. That should bode very well for the coming 2 quarters. Can't wait to see September or October numbers when Tesla is done ramping up again and the 20% increase to the whole factory that they've been talking about is done, and we can see what numbers they will be able to crank out. They should get close to that 100,000 units run rate in a month with 31 days. That's just nuts. We only have to go back 5 years in 2017 when that was all Tesla sold in a year globally. But by the end of 2022, they might be able to do that in just 1 month from just one factory. Just wow. And according to a leaked email, Giga Shanghai would have a plant-wide blackout from July the 1st to the 4th for capacity upgrade. So this is probably the last part of the 20% increase for the total Shanghai factory capacity to get to the 22,000 units a week. So Tesla should be fully ramped up by the end of Q3. And to put Tesla's numbers into a little perspective, SIAC and Volkswagen sold about 947 ID.4X in the first 12 days of June. If they keep that up, they should get close to 2,500 units. Yeah, Bloomberg, I see what you mean when you say that Volkswagen is really speeding past Tesla like there's no tomorrow. Model Y only outsells the ID.4 5-1. But even though we have to get ready for the Q2 numbers that might not be as high as Q1, and Tesla will probably get a lot of bad press about it, but we have to remember that even with the lockdown of the Shanghai factory for a month and the ramp up again and so on, Tesla China in June could still make about 140% increase in sales compared to last year. That is just very impressive no matter what. But it is not only Tesla that is doing well in China in June, so are most of the Chinese automakers. CITIC Securities expects Chinese new energy vehicles to reach a record high in June. China's new energy vehicle sales are expected to reach 543,000 to 553,000 units in June. If CITIC Securities forecast comes true, it would mean that Chinese new energy vehicle sales will set another record in June, 7.5% higher than the previous record of 505,000 units in December of last year. They expect BYD to sell just above 140,000 units. That would include hybrids, but they also think that Tesla will deliver as many as 87,000 units. Now that would be much higher than what we just talked about, and would definitely be a big surprise if this is the case. So it will be very interesting to see when we get the final numbers in a week's time. And this week, Tesla Model S could celebrate its 10-year anniversary. Tesla started deliveries of the Model S in 2012, and Tesla made history that year when the Tesla Model S became the first all-electric vehicle to win Motor Trend's Car of the Year award, and also blew away the competition and won Automobiles magazine's Automobile of the Year. And the first spark for the electric revolution had begun. But not only that, in 2019 the Model S beat 70 years of motoring legends to win Motor Trend's Ultimate Car of the Year award. So simply put, the best car ever for the last 70 years. In 2015, it even broke Consumer Reports rating systems as Tesla Model S P85D scored 103 out of 100. What a 10-year it has been for the Tesla Model S, and even though Motor Trend has said in 2019 it was the best car ever, Tesla just made it a little bit better last year with the Plaid that took the beast to a whole new level. I don't think we will see many others come out with something that can match that car on all specs anytime soon, if maybe ever, other than maybe Tesla's own Roadster. But the Tesla Model S Plaid is now the quickest production car on the planet and have put every multi-million-dollar ICE supercar to shame and made them obsolete, and even made the companies like Lamborghini come out and say, we don't look at acceleration anymore. Yeah, of course, because you can't keep up with a four-door family sedan that only costs $140,000. Yeah, the Tesla Model S was the hardcore smackdown to the ICE car, and the beginning of the EV revolution and the end of the Ice Age. And Elon did an interview this week with Bloomberg in Qatar, where they also asked him about the competition. And they had heard that Volkswagen might beat them in 2024, but as Elon rightly pointed out, that was Bloomberg saying that.
Where do you see competition coming from? Do you see it coming from the old car makers coming back at you? I just saw a forecast that maybe in a couple of years' time Volkswagen would be bigger than you in electric cars. Or do you see it coming from new places? Do you believe that or not?
I believe that forecast was from you.
Yes, it was, yeah. And do you agree with that?
I would not agree with that forecast, no.
Yes, that was correct. It was Bloomberg that had the ridiculous prediction, as I talked about in last week's news show, and Elon had the same thought as I did. We don't believe that prediction from Bloomberg, but Bloomberg has also shown us again and again that they don't know much about disruption. They also think that the EVs will only stand for about 35% of the car market in 2040. This is probably going to age as well as when Bloomberg predicted that the iPhone was nothing more than a luxury bauble that would appeal to a few gadget freaks. In terms of impact on the industry, the iPhone is less relevant, according to Matthew Lin from Bloomberg in 2007. As he also wrote, the biggest competitors in the mobile phone industry, such as Nokia and Motorola, won't be whispering nervously into their clamshell over the new threat to their business. No, but they should have. Today, Apple stands for about 80% of the profit in the smartphone industry. Just insane. So I rarely believe the forecast coming out of Bloomberg anyway, as they're mostly wrong when it comes to disruptive technology. And Texas plans for a massive EV charger expansion. As I talked about in my last video, people don't need to worry about the EV charging infrastructure, as hundreds of companies are building thousands of charging stalls every single month. Tesla, all by themselves, have put up over 700 supercharging stalls in just June so far. But as I said, the state and governments are also going to help with this, as I talked about in last week's news show that the UK would now start focusing on EV chargers instead of EV's incentive, and Texas has just shown a plan for a massive charging infrastructure expansion. In a new plan from the Texas Department of Transportation, the state is setting aside $408 million for electric vehicle charging infrastructure over the next 5 years. The state will build a charging infrastructure every 50 miles along many major interstate routes. The plan outlines some key parts of the infrastructure being installed. Many of the stations will include energy storage and/or solar power generations to ease demand on the grid. Very good. Just as I have been talking about before, this will become the norm, that we will install storage and solar together with the charging stations, so they will not be hurting the grid but helping out the grid. So nice to see Texas already putting this into the plan. And the chargers they plan will have a charge rate of 150 kilowatts with multiple bays at each station. Sounds great. Would have been even better with 300 kilowatts just to future-proof them a bit, but still they are putting up 150 kilowatts charging and not 50 kilowatts charging, so that is nice. And the goal would be to have installed roughly 500,000 chargers by 2030. And this is just in Texas. Yes, as I talked about in my last video, don't worry about the charging infrastructure. We will build that out very fast, as we saw with the shift from horse to cars when we build out the whole road infrastructure at the same time, and the bulk of this shift from 11 to 81% still happened in only 10 years. Yes, this will happen very fast, and there will just be chargers literally everywhere. And Tesla's virtual power plant continues to get some traction. Tesla has partnered with utility provider Pacific Gas and Electric (PG&E) to launch a virtual power plant in California. Powerwall owners that decide to join the program will earn $2 per kilowatt hour sent back to the grid to help reduce and avoid blackouts. That is a pretty good price as well. I believe the price per kilowatt hours in California is about 20 cents. So to get $2 back per kilowatt hour you send back to the grid is a pretty good deal. As they also wrote, the California grid operator forecast a continuous need for Californians to support the grid, help to create the largest distributed battery system in the world, and avoid dependence on the least efficient fossil fuel power plant. Opt into the Tesla virtual power plant, and Tesla will dispatch your Powerwall when the grid needs support while continuing to maintain your energy security. Tesla says that more than 50,000 Powerwalls could be enrolled in the program. Tesla also operates virtual power plant in Australia, which was launched in the state of Victoria in September of last year. The program expands to more regions in April with Powerwall owners in New South Wales and Southeast Queensland and Australia Capital Territory, now able to sign up for the program. Yes, I don't really think people truly understand the impact on this long term. When most buildings have their own storage and produce most of their own energy, this will be such a big help to the grid. And let's get our weekly update about the Texas Giga factories. That means handing it over to Brian from My Tesla Weekend. Take it away, Brian.
Hey Lars. Well, the big news in Shanghai is that the extension to the west side is getting roof and wall work, and the small building in the central corridor has got 3 of its walls up and its roof. Not too bad. In Berlin, at the north end, we've seen a lot more pilings have been put in. The solar panels now on the roof have west side facing panels in addition to the east side facing ones we've already seen. At the south end of the building, there's some new graffiti up. It's pretty cool. And the south parking extension is moving along nicely. The 4680 building, of course, continues getting closed off, and interior work is underway. In Texas, we've got more parking areas that have been dug up for rework. More loading docks have been added to the 2nd and 3rd floors around the building, and the main parking is getting its work done as well, with trenching for conduit and whatnot. The cathode building is very exciting. Almost all the footings are in, though more may be added along the center in the wake of the crane as it retreats, and steel work has already begun, and it's moving so quick. The grading over by the extension to the switchyard is doing real good, and it's even extending a bit towards the highway. maybe it'll be even bigger than we thought. And on the roof, the T in Tesla is taking shape quite nicely. Back to you, Lars.
Thank you so much for that update, Brian. See you next week. Let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. SpaceX is making new records as they return a Falcon 9 booster B1060 after completing its 13th launch and landing. That is just so impressive. SpaceX already have very reusable rocket boosters. And SpaceX did roll out the Super Heavy booster to the orbital launch site, lifted it up on the launch pad with the chopsticks on the launch tower Megazilla, where we could also see the 33 Raptor engines. This is all just so unreal. Link to the whole video down below. And Elon is pushing to make Tesla service better, as he wrote on Twitter, working on Tesla North American service, goal is 2/3 of cars receive same-day service, no wait. That would be amazing if they can pull that one off. Elon said in an interview with Bloomberg in Qatar that Tesla is on track on having their prototype of their robot ready for AI Day in September.
We will have an interesting prototype to show people. We have a very talented team at Tesla that I'm working with closely to have a prototype humanoid robot ready by the end of September, and I think we are tracking to that point.
And it might be better than most people think. Robert Scoble on Twitter shared some insight from a tour he was on a secret lab in Silicon Valley, and he thinks that Tesla Bot, when revealed in September, will blow everybody away because of the simulator it has. Because he had heard that the Tesla robot has done many billions of things in the simulator it has built. In it, a robot already have been walking through snow and mud and sand and many other surfaces. So it should learn fast if it's all done in the simulator that Tesla apparently has. And he writes the simulator has gone next level. It gives Tesla superpowers no other company has. Either way, his expectation for Tesla's AI Day has gone way up because of what giant AI showed him and because of what he learned about Tesla's simulator. Yeah, that gets me excited about AI Day as well. I hope we will be able to get some cool demos of all of this in September. But I am also excited about AI Day because of the update Tesla will probably give us on their full self-driving program. Because Elon just said in an interview with Tesla owner Silicon Valley, because he still thinks we are on track for getting full self-driving in the end of 2022.
What would you say to the people that have said, for several years, you've said it'll be this year, it'll be next year? What would you say to those people?
It'll be this year.
Perfect.
Why was I overly optimistic in the past? I did not understand the scope of the problem.
And you feel you do now?
Yeah.
But Elon did also tweet about the full self-driving program 10.13 smooth out intersection control, especially long left, and start to handle roads with no map data at all. Last point is a big deal. Within a few months, full self-driving should be able to drive to a GPS point with zero map data. Oh yeah, a lot of cool progress are happening with the Tesla full self-driving program. And Elon also said in the interview with Tesla owner Silicon Valley that the Cybertruck design was finalized, so set to enter production in about 12 months. And the Tesla Autopilot team is at CVPR this year. If you are in New Orleans, you will have a chance to stop by and talk with the engineers and check out the Cybertruck. Nice. And speaking of the Cybertruck, check out this picture by Scott Mormon of some light work he has done. That's pretty cool. And we see a new permit filing for Tesla in Austin, stating that they will build a tunnel. We have heard about this before, that the Boring Company was coming to Austin. As I also talked about a couple of years back, I predicted that the Boring Company was going to build a tunnel from the Giga factory to the airport and into the city center. We don't know where this tunnel will go. The only thing I can find in the filing is Tesla Road, and that the Boring Company filed an application for a project called Colorado River Connector Tunnel on June 21. The application described the project as a private access tunnel along with associated improvement, whatever that means, but it will be very interesting to see what they will build. And if you are worried about Tesla's layoff Tesla is doing right now, just remember that Tesla in Berlin continues to hire about 500 to 600 employees per month. Currently, they are about 5,000 workers at the Berlin factory, but they hope to get up to 12,000 by the end of the year. So quite the ramp they still have to do there. And the layoff is not going to be anyone in production. And the ramp in Berlin is also going pretty well. According to Troy Tesla, this is the ramp compared to the Shanghai factory, and this was from June the 17th, so it should get close to about 6,000 units in June compared to 8,800 in Shanghai in their third month of production of the Model Y. So not bad, as I have said before. I think they might be slow in the beginning because of all the new technology, but it will probably speed up later this year compared to what Shanghai was able to do. But we'll have to wait and see. And I just found out from Kilowatts that the GM's new Cadillac Lyrics handles are not actually handles but just a button, and then you use a little wing to open the door as the Ford Mach-E. But with the Ford you could trigger and grab in a single motion. You cannot do that with the Lyric. Here the handle is just a button. That is just a weird design in my view. Take Ford's great design and make it worse. And the Lyric doesn't even have a frunk either. Or maybe kind of. And according to German Minister of Finance Christian Lindner, Germany will not support EU's plan to ban on the new ICE car sales from 2035. I know he probably thinks he's just trying to help out the German car industry by trying to stop the ban from happening. But this will do the exact opposite. If they are not forced to go all in on EVs by 2035, they won't. And if they are not 100% EVs by 2030, they will no longer be in business, or at least a shadow of their former self. It's coming whether they like it or not, so better get on board than get left behind. And we know Mary Barra said GM would sell more electric cars than Tesla, but this seems to be the wrong way, Mary. And we also talked about the competition coming for Tesla, but last year it didn't really come at all. Fiat Group has put together this list of the top 110 best-selling cars from last year, and there were only 3 electric cars on that list. The Tesla Model 3, the Tesla Model Y, and the Wuling Mini EV. And the Tesla Model 3 was actually the 9th best-selling car in the world last year. And the Model Y came in at number 19th. And the Mini EV just in after the Model Y at number 20. But that is it. No other EV in the top 110 list. This will surely change this year, but really shows us the talk everybody has been doing about the new EVs that was stealing sales from Tesla was just that. Talk. And this year we could see both the Model Y and Model 3 in the top 10, maybe even top 5. And look at this little shipment of Tesla being transported by train into Sweden, getting ready for the end of the quarter push. And Elon also said in the interview with Silicon Valley Part 3 that maybe Tesla should advertise, but not to advertise for the car, but simply to get mainstream media off Tesla's back with all the FUD stories about Tesla.
And shooting down FUD is always very helpful. And there's an argument for maybe we should advertise because the sort of traditional media will not run negative pieces about automotive because automotive is like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, advertisers in their paper. So they're like
the ads could literally be nothing, but it would be better because the articles therefore would also not be bad.
Yes, like this is so Tesla's like basically free game, whereas it's safe to say that if they run some negative piece about General Motors right next to a General Motors ad, General Motors marketing exec is going to call them up and say, why did you do that? So maybe we should advertise and at least it doesn't feel right, but that is something we could do. I mean, in the grand scheme of things though, if you look at if you ignore sort of the Sturm und Drang and say just okay, well, is it actually causing us to sell fewer cars? It doesn't seem to be.
In the interview, Elon is also talking about the Berlin and Austin factory is burning money right now, which was of course expected until they get the factory ramped up, but mainstream media of course ran with the news like Tesla is in big trouble. But don't worry, as Elon also said, this will go away very soon.
Berlin and Austin are losing billions of dollars right now. Now this is all going to get fixed real fast.
Yes, and remember, Tesla still have practically $0 in debt, whereas some like Volkswagen has over $200 billion in debt. Yeah, it's not Tesla that is in trouble. I will leave a link to the whole interview in the description. Definitely go check that one out. And if you can't wait until September to see the Tesla bot, don't worry. You can just take a look at the Berlin's factory graffiti, as Brian pointed out. Here is just a little close-up. Nice. And Toyota did just 2 months ago come out with their first fully BEV, the BZ4X, but they are now recalling all of the 2,700 units they have sold so far over concern their wheels may fall off. Sure, Tesla is the one with bad build quality, right? Funny how the legacy automakers are finding out it is different to build an EV than an ICE car, like Ford that trolled Tesla because one roof fell off a Tesla, and then Ford had to make a recall of their Mach-E because their roof might fall off. I guess that's what is called karma, but not the best start for Toyota on their EV adventure with the BZ4X, and it also only have 252 miles of EPA range, 0 to 60 in over 7 seconds, charging is only up to 150 kilowatt, and it have some trouble charging in freezing temperatures, and now they are recalling because the wheels might fall off. Yeah, not so good for an EV that cost about the same as a Tesla Model 3. I know which one I would buy. And if you didn't see it on Twitter, the same day Elon tweeted this picture of the 7-Eleven sign with the gas prices of 7-Eleven. Well, the Tesla stock ended off that day with the price of 7-Eleven. Yeah, the simulation is real. And Qatar Economic Forum, where Elon was also interviewed, the CEO of Qatar Investment Authorities, HE, said about Elon Musk's Twitter deal. We believe in Elon's leadership, and that is why we are committed on this transaction. Yes, exactly. It doesn't distract him from Tesla or SpaceX for that matter. He's just buying a company. And Redmond Materials made a deal with Toyota to recycle EV batteries.
Yeah, we're very excited to be jumping into recycling those old hybrid electric vehicle batteries. There were millions of Priuses and other hybrid vehicles sold, over the last 10 to 15 years, and a lot of those are some of the oldest electrified vehicles on the road. So we're able to actually take the nickel and other valuable elements from those batteries and sort of make it into a new chemistry, into something relevant for lithium-ion batteries today.
Nice. And Car.com came out with their list of most American-made cars. And who do you think topped the list? GM? No, they were not even on the top 10 list. No, it was Tesla with the Model Y at the number 1 spot, just in front of Tesla's Model 3. And you will find the Model X and X on 5 and 6 as well. And Tesla supplier Core Lithium says it's ready to start delivering lithium from its mine in Darwin by the end of the year to Tesla. Yep, more mining deals, that is moving forward fast. And if you have a great EV, it will sell. Li Auto says that the Li L9 got 30,000 orders in just the first 72 hours after launch. So if they have production ready, they should be able to get to their goal of delivering more than 10,000 L9 in September. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout to my newest patrons and members of this YouTube channel. Tom Munch, Ave Swenning, MIB Nice and You Are member, Thomas and Debbie Metch. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And a big and special thanks to Supporter of the Week, and this week's winner is Gary Tucker. Gary has been a best in Tesla superhero of mine for 11 months. Thank you so much, Gary, for all your support. Much, much appreciated. And please contact me on this email down below so I can get your address and send you your free t-shirt or mug of your choice. Thank you. And let's end off with a bit of fun. According to the US president, America is a nation that can be defined in a single word.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word.
Well, English is not my native tongue, but I have never heard that word before. That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support, and if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to a donation options in the show notes. And also as simple as hitting the super like button. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only. And I will give my YouTube members and patrons early access to my videos whenever possible and make my videos ads free for members and patrons only. So don't miss out. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.